Today, how are you doing today? So today I'm going to show you how to determine the first derivative of a function. So let's get into it. So if function of x is equal to x to the power of n, then the rule of differentiation states that the first derivative of x, which is f prime x, is equal to, you just bring down the power n, and x, then you minus 1 on the power n. So that will be the derivative. Or if y is equal to x to the power of n, then the derivative, which is the derivative of y with respect to x, dy dx, will be equal to, again, the same thing. You bring down the power n, x to the power of n minus 1. So that is the formula that you use for determining the first derivative of a function. So let's look at some examples. So example 1, find the derivative of function of x is equal to x cubed. So using the previous formula, we just say the function of x, the first derivative of function of x is equal to, you bring down the power 3, x to the power of 3 minus 1, which is equal to 3 to the power of x to the power 2. Easy. Then another example. Find the derivative of function of x is equal to 7 over x cubed. So one thing that you want to do, you don't want to determine the derivative when the variable is the denominator. So you have to convert that variable to be a numerator. So to do that, you just use the laws of indices. So the function of x will become 7x to the power negative 3. Then the first derivative, using again the similar formula, will be equal to, you bring down your power negative 3 to the 7, then it multiplies 3 times 7, then you get negative 21. X to the power minus 3 minus 1, which will give you minus 21, x to the power negative 4, which you can rewrite as a positive index as minus 21 over x to the power 4. And that's how you solve that question. Then another example, find the derivative of f of x is equal to the square root of x. Now again, what you want to do, you don't want to differentiate when the x is under a square root. So you apply again the laws of indices, and you write f of x is equal to the square root of x, and that becomes f of x is equal to x to the power a half. Then you apply the first formula. First derivative of x will equal to, you bring down half, x to the power of half minus 1, and that becomes half x to the power of negative half. You can leave it like this, or you can write it as a positive index, or also under the square root. Okay, then another example. Find the derivative of f of x is equal to 3x squared plus 5x minus 9. So to do this, you just apply the same formula. So first derivative of x is equal to, so in this case you have got 3 terms. So you have to differentiate those terms separately. So on the first one, you bring down the power 2 and it multiplies with the 3, that becomes 6x. Then plus that 5x, it's 5x to the power 1. So you bring down the 1, and that becomes 5, then x to the power 1 minus 1, that becomes a 0. So then the derivative is just 6x plus 5. A derivative of a constant, it's 0 because it doesn't have a variable to differentiate. So that will be your final answer. First derivative of x will be equal to 6x plus 5. Moving on to the other example. Find the derivative of function of x is equal to 3x squared minus 2x to the power 5 over x cubed. So what you do here, you want to split your fraction to become 3x to the power 4 over x cubed minus 2x to the power 5 over x cubed. Then you can solve this and you'll be left with 3x minus 2x to the power 2. Now you can do your first derivative. First derivative of x will be equal to, again, here there's a power 1. So you bring down the power 1 multiplies by 3. That becomes 3 x to the power 0. So remember, x to the power 0 is just a 1. So it's just 3. Minus, then you bring down the 2 there. Then it becomes 4x to the power 1. So that's your first derivative. Then moving on to the last example. Find dy dx if y is equal to the bracket square root of x plus 3, bracket 2 root x plus 7. So to determine the derivative of this, you don't want to differentiate when it's inside the bracket like that. So you have to multiply out the brackets, and that will be 2x plus 7 root x plus 6 root x plus 21. So you want to also combine those like terms. That will become y is equal to 2x plus 13 root x plus 21. And before you differentiate, you want to also convert that square root x to be a power of half. So that becomes 2x plus 13, x to the power half, plus 21. Now you can do the derivative. So the dy dx will be equal to, so in this case, that will be a 2, plus you bring down the half, that will be 13 over 2, x to the power negative half, because that will be a half minus 1, then plus 0, because the derivative of constant, once again, it's 0. Yeah, that's how you use the derivative rule to determine the derivative of a function. Thank you.